Hello and welcome. This is the Connector's Edge podcast. I'm Marian LaSalle, the Chief Connector here, and my co-host, Ricki McKenna, and a wonderful guest this morning, Gayle. And Gayle is going to be introduced here in just a minute by Ricki. Ricki, thank you for inviting our cool guest that I can't wait to hear more about. Story is amazing, right? We all have them. Might as well tell them the right way. So let me tell you a little bit about Referral Business Builders and why we decided to start this podcast. Referral Business Builders is all about community, connections and community. So we have the Connectors Hour Book Club, we have the Connectors Edge podcast, we have all different types of training and workshops and networking. We have physical networking, we have a chapter in Houston, and we are looking to add more. So anyway, think about this, the name, referral. And so that is really what is important to me. As you talk about your business, as we get to know you, we want to be able to refer you. So that's really where this all stems from, is my desire to share your passion with the world. And your world may be small, it may be, just your local community, or it could be the world. So either way, it's fine with me. I love it. I love connecting people. So this podcast is a way for us to help get the word out to the general public through YouTube and all the popular podcast apps. So you can watch us on YouTube, or you can just listen to us in your earbuds as you're driving down the road or taking the dog for a walk. So thank you for being here, and please join us at referralbusinessbuilders.com to see all the cool things that we have going on. Now I am going to turn it over to my co-host, Ricki McKenna, who is a wonderful nutritionist and has helped me with my food so much. Thank you, Ricki. And here we go.
Well, thank you, Marian, and good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're listening, and welcome to our our guest, Gayle Nowak. And Gayle and I have known each other for quite a while, and only online. We've never met in person, but for years now through the wellness universe, of which Gayle and I are both members. And Gayle is a story stylist, as you can tell by her sign. And that involves spirit-led entrepreneurs and helping them to take their stories, their spirit, their business, their life, and bring everything together in alignment so that they make connections that are meaningful. And so I'm not going to tell you a lot because I'm going to let Gayle speak for herself, as she does quite well. And so, Gayle, thank you for joining us, and take it away. Tell us who you are and why you do what you do, because you do it very well.
Thank you, Ricki. I appreciate that. And Marianne, thank you for having me on the show. I love that it's the connector's edge, because a lot of the work that I do is really about creating genuine connection and creating healthy business relationships and really healthy relationships in life. I just happen to work with entrepreneurs and business owners, coaches, healers. I call them spirit led, but maybe, soulful or conscious might be a term that, your audience resonates with a little bit more. And it's exactly as Ricki said, it's all about aligning your energy and your story and your visibility so that you can create that genuine connection and you can attract collaboration, opportunities, clients, and do that in a way where you're not hiding or silencing yourself. One thing that I know to be true about visibility and marketing and even sales on a certain level, actually on on a pretty defined level, is that these activities can often bring up our fears and our insecurities and our wounds. and make us want to run and hide sometimes, or make us want to hold back the truth of who we are. And
Mm.
that's a normal human reaction, and we don't have to let that limit us. So that's a lot of the work that I do. There's a lot of inside out process that happens that I didn't necessarily always recognize or realize. I've been in business since 2013, and it took me some time to really understand that telling your story and connecting with people is going to activate some things from the inside. And we need to
Mm,
tend to that. We need to care for our inner world in order to really be fully expressed with the outer world.
excellent. Love that. Thank you for describing
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
I could feel that, and I could put myself in that position. My first question for you, Gayle, is something that really I think opens up a world for so many people, and that is why you started this. What was the thought? What was the emotion? What was I don't know, maybe something happened to you. Maybe you didn't get what you needed. I want to hear what made you start this business.
Yeah, I love this question. Thank you for asking it. And you're right. There was definitely, this has been brewing for a long time, a long time. On the surface level, I always knew I wanted to have it. Well, I shouldn't say always, but when I was in college, I knew I wanted to have a business. I didn't know exactly what that was going to be like. I had this wonderful experience of being a supervisor at the dining commons at
Ah.
college. And I just loved the idea of I got to pick my own shifts, I got to pick my own team, I got to work in the different roles that I wanted to work at. And so I was really inspired by that flexibility and that freedom. And another piece that was going on is that I've always been a strong communicator. Not that I haven't had challenges with communication, but I'm a Gemini, so communication is definitely something that's
Mhm.
associated with Geminis, and that was something that was very present for me even at a young age. I was in 4-H. I was the lead in a play in youth group. I was often asked to speak in front of groups. So these were little hints of things to come, and easy to see now in hindsight,
Oh,
right? But
yes.
Sure.
in the moment, not really, not really sure where it's all going. And this deeper aspect to the work that I do really is connected to, something that's, maybe I'm going to give a little content warning here. Um, it, it's connected to my childhood, and it's, not an easy experience. It's not an easy truth. And at age 9, I made a vow of silence after experiencing abuse.
Oh,
And
Ooh.
wow.
yeah. And years later, when I finally did speak up in my teen years, I was shut down and people didn't
Ouch.
believe me. Yeah.
Oh,
And that really left me feeling like my voice didn't matter. And
oh,
so I learned
Mm.
to
that's rough.
back the truth. I learned to shrink myself. And I did that to survive. That was actually a very smart strategy at that time to get through that period of my life. And I think that even when our stories are different, I think a lot of people really can relate to silencing and shrinking themselves to feel
Yes.
safe,
Especially women.
Oh, yeah.
especially women, especially women. And it does happen to men too, but women in particular, the details could be different, but I think it's a very common experience.
Yeah.
And so the thing is,
Unfortunately.
yeah, unfortunately, exactly. The
Excuse me.
thing is I carried that strategy a lot longer than I needed it because I
Mm.
didn't have the support. I didn't have, not only did I not have the support in my community, I didn't actually have professional support until much later in my life to sort of work through that trauma and heal those wounds. And actually, it was my business that activated all of that
Mm.
for me. Um, it was my clients. Part of what really helped me break free was realizing that this wound that I was carrying inside of me and hiding was actually my greatest medicine. And it took some time for me to really understand what was going on. But when I started my business around story, and part of the reason why I started it is because that this had always been a part of my life. Even in high school, I was the editor of the Lit Bag, I was the editor of the newspaper. Story has been a continuous theme in my
Wow.
life. I went into journalism, I went into PR, I went into marketing communications. And so telling other people's stories was sort of a natural thing to me. But it got to this point where it was also the thing that I was hiding behind
Mm.
because I didn't have to tell my story, right?
Excuse me.
It's a process. So it started with this section of your life, but been a process. And so for me, just getting to know you, it looks to me like you picked the perfect opportunity to grow as a human being and a business owner. I could see it.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like be the change that you want to see. You are
yes.
that. It's your story, but it's everyone's story
I was
too.
thinking that same thing. I thought, wow, we all have a story
Yeah.
and she knows it. Uh, so to bring that out, so you were able to do it for yourself, but most of us can't. And so you're here to help us bring that story out. I'm telling you, I just love it.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and our stories they're ours and
Yeah.
they're tender and we're in it. And so it's sometimes hard to see the pieces that your audience is going. So if we switch into strategy mode and marketing mode, we're sometimes so close that we're not sure the pieces that are going to
Did you hear what
resonate
she just
with
said,
others.
Ricki? Our stories are tender. That
Yes.
hit me. That hit me really hard.
That
Our
hit
stories
me
are
too.
tender. Oh man, Gayle, what are you doing to
Gayle,
us?
I never thought of it that way. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're
And,
bringing
and
out the emotions already.
woo,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
teary.
Me
Just
too. What's up with
thinking of
this?
just uh, wow.
Oh,
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's
Yeah.
hmm.
and I thought I was over all that. Ha ha.
Yeah.
I guess even though we mature in a lot of ways, it's still those wounds that are not quite closed all the way. And just, just a little trickle of something can kind of pop it open.
Yeah.
And in a sense, I guess that's good because that way we can deal with it. But it's
Yes.
also, ouch.
Do you feel, Gayle, that all your
Ooh.
clients start out with that, like, but now we have to figure out how to make that into a business?
Yeah. So when you say start out with that, start out with
The
the
tender emotions that
tenderness.
yeah, our stories, yeah,
Sure.
because I think that for me, I build websites, and so for me, most of my clients, we don't really dig into that. We don't dig
Yeah.
into how'd you start this or whatever. It's more of a, okay, where are you now? But it seems to me that you have to dig into clients from the beginning, the tender
Hmm.
story, and turn it into a business, right? And tell their story.
Yeah. Many of my clients, their story is what's informing the creation and the growth and the evolution of their business.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
And that was something I didn't expect expect because when I first started my business, I was really coming at it from everything that I had learned in PR and marketing and
Right.
all the external results of telling your story
Yeah.
and the technicalities of how do you build a story. But this whole other thing was happening inside the coaching container where
I bet.
just what happened here, right? The tears,
Yeah.
the emotion,
Ooh.
and it was a real reflection to me of like, wow, this is actually a transformative process that's happening. And so two things for me came out of that is, okay, my clients feel safe enough to share these vulnerable emotional things with me. And I also want to be able to be the person who can who can hold that in integrity and
You're kind of like a
who knows
therapist,
how to nurture that, right? A little
right?
bit
Yeah.
like that. Well, and that's why I call myself an emotional wellness coach and really learned and got more coaching skills in order to do that intentionally, even though there was some natural ability to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Ooh, I think we all, especially women, have a natural ability to take in so much. And sometimes it's ours to take in, and sometimes it isn't. And it's
Hmm.
that line between what is really ours to deal with and what doesn't belong to us, and how to. This is where I kind of got stopped and I guess let myself get stepped on in some ways, where someone would comment on something and I would take it to heart, and it really
Mm,
wasn't mine, it was
yeah.
theirs. And learning to deal with that
Empath.
Yeah.
is something that
I recognize that.
yeah,
Oh,
Gayle, tell us more.
well, yeah, I have another question for you, Gail, and I think our
Ooh.
audience would really like to hear this too. Who are the types of clients who come to you and who
Mm,
should be coming to you? Like in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, you're a stylist of their story to help them build their business and get it out to the world, right? And so I'm thinking, oh, the people that want to be on not Oprah anymore because she's not on anymore, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
The
I do.
major things. I mean, is that the type of client that you're looking for that come to you, that should come to you? Or is it the people that are just starting out with their business and they don't even know what their story is?
Yeah, it's interesting that you that you bring up Oprah. I actually in my agency days had a client who was on the Oprah show. So
Ooh,
I do have that level of, working with people on media training and being visible,
mm,
doing podcast interviews, speaking in front of an audience. And so those may be opportunities. If you're somebody who's writing a book, if you're wanting to do a TED Talk, if you're maybe it's not even a TED Talk, you're just going to different networking events and sharing about your work or doing a training. Uh, yes, that's a great um, platform to share your message and share your story and to do
mm.
that from an energetically aligned place because our energy leads and that's what people are going to feel.
Yeah.
They're going to hear your words, but they're really going to
Yep.
feel your energy. And this is an energetic process. It's an emotional process. It's an
Mm,
inside out type of work that I do with clients. So those might be some of the things that are going on in your business where you might want to get support, whether it's from me, whether it's from someone else. As far as the group of people that I work with coaches, I work with small business owners, I work with conscious leaders, I work with healers, and typically those who are wanting to be visible, whether it's in their speaking or their writing.
mm.
I hate to
I
be
think
asking
there's
all the questions, Ricky. You got anything? I know you're still reeling.
I'm
Hard to
like,
tell. I can
Wow.
tell. I can
You
go
know,
on if you want me to.
well, no, and it's really well, I'll be honest, it's deeper than I really anticipated, frankly. And I'm glad to know that, Gail, um,
Yeah.
because I'm in the process of changing. I had so much this past year has been change in capital letters and neon lights.
She got
Um,
married. She moved to Colorado. I mean, yeah, talk about changes. Yeah.
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 Um,
Yeah.
and I'm also just revamping my business, the approach that I'm taking to teaching people how to cook or teaching people basically how to take care of themselves, how to nourish the insides that shows on the outside. And I
Mm,
think that's what you're talking about in the
yeah.
sense of aligning all of this so that my energy gets that out there to people and they want to come work with me.
Yeah.
That's been my biggest challenge, shall I say, is I've got the energy and to make it attractive to people so that they want to come work with me. Because one of the things that and I guess this is unfortunately typical of many women in particular, where we do what we love. And as I say, I meditate in my kitchen. That's what helps me to work with the food and
Mm,
so forth. And yet monetizing it so that I can actually, keep myself going and keep the shows going and that kind of thing. And how would you approach that from
yeah.
your standpoint, from taking my story and turning it into something that actually makes people want to work with me?
I have a question
Yeah.
about that because I think what what Ricky's saying is what's the best way for her to get out there? She doesn't like to promote herself. I don't know why.
I
She's
don't.
she's got a book. She's full of knowledge. She's so helpful. All of the stuff. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, she's got a cookbook, but what about? I mean,
It's
I'm just trying to figure her out. Like, how is how can I get her out to the world? Because she's not going to do it.
Mm, mm.
You know?
Very common.
Sorry.
So you're normal, Ricki.
You're
oh,
normal, Ricky?
Congratulations.
Oh my
You're
gosh.
normal.
okay, whatever that
And
means. No.
and this is why energy matters. And this is why before we even talk about how are you going to do that, right?
Hmm.
Before the strategies, before the content, the real question is how are you showing up energetically? And I know you're very vital and you're full of, you know, energy to move you through your day, but also what I'm hearing from you and from Marianne is that there's this resistance to promoting yourself, to getting
Promoting
yourself
myself.
out
Yeah.
there.
I
Right.
think that goes back to childhood.
Sure. Yeah.
We need to bring in
It-
psychologists and all kinds of stuff to, move this
well, even
along.
just coaching, transformational coaching can help you shift that energy so that it starts to match the results that you want. So I'm not surprised to hear that, you have, and I know you have this cookbook. I know that your process is so needed because our view of nutrition and having a healthy lifestyle has been so distorted
Oh,
through mainstream media.
Yes.
So
confusing.
what you have, yeah, it's
Yes.
confusing. What you do, what you have is so valuable. And I hear that frustration of like,
Yeah,
how do I monetize this? And
exactly.
a piece of the equation, just from what I'm hearing in our conversation, is the resistance to promoting it. And you already know. See, it's already in you. You
Yeah.
already intuitively went to it probably started in childhood. It probably started in childhood. And so my invitation to you, Ricki, would be to really get curious about that and get curious about what is the, let's see, let me just kind of feel into a question you could either journal on or meditate on, maybe
Mm.
while you're cooking
No,
in the
I'm
kitchen,
cooking. Yeah.
right? Um, what is it that I learned about promoting doesn't feel like the right word. What is it that I learned about sharing who I am when I was younger? Sharing what makes me, makes me brilliant, makes me shine. What did I learn
Yeah.
about that?
That was the old children should be seen and not heard, which
Mhm.
is, pardon me, but that sucks
Yeah, it
because
does.
children have brilliance and they may not know how to articulate it, and sometimes I don't, but they should not be squelched. And
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yep,
Well, I am sure that what we have gone through today is helping everyone that is watching this, because even if you don't have a business and you're getting ready to start one, this is something you should look at before you get going, right? Because it's going to come out whether you want it to or not.
Oh, yeah. It
yeah,
will.
We all have childhoods. We all have, things that happen to us that change our lives or to direct us in a different way. How many times have all of us thought to ourselves, if I would have just made a different decision on that day, if I just would have gone, a
yeah,
different direction in college, if I just, if I wouldn't have never mind.
yeah,
If I
it's
wouldn't
all
have
there.
married that man, yeah, there you go. So
Yeah,
yes, I think this conversation is really important because we do need to think about how we're going to show up. And if our story is directed and by someone like you, Gayle, who cares, someone who can really pull that information out of us in a way that we can then share it with the world, our life can be different and better.
Yes. Yeah. That's absolutely true. It's
yeah,
really moving from that place of crying and pushing and forcing to simply being you and being magnetic. And I know
Yeah.
ah,
that that sounds simple, and it takes intention and it takes practice
yeah,
to
Yeah.
to really integrate that.
One last
yep.
thing before we end the show. I would like for you to describe a client that is perfect for you. You
Hmm.
can either tell me one that you already have or one that you want, but I'd like to hear the perfect client for you.
Oh, the perfect client for me is a coach, a healer, certainly somebody who is familiar with transformation. And not everybody is ready to go on a transformational journey.
Yes,
That's
And this
true.
work is
somebody
transformational.
who's ready. Okay, that's a
Hmm.
Yeah.
good one.
Yeah. Who really cares deeply about impacting their clients, their community, their audience. It's not about money for money's sake. It's not about success for
No,
success sake. They
Yes,
want that. Don't get me wrong. I,
we
I
all
also
need
want to work
that.
with
That's
clients
right.
who want to get paid, who want to be compensated for their brilliance. That's an important piece. I tend to attract a lot of people who care and who want to have an impact. And
I
the
can see
the
that.
work is actually more on the money piece of
Yeah.
things, right? Because we have money also brings up our wounds and our vulnerabilities and our insecurities
Money
as
doesn't
well.
grow on trees, you know.
Right, right.
yeah,
All those sayings, right? Money is the root of all evil, which by the way,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
that's not even the
that's
accurate
not
quote.
the
Oh,
quote. No,
I
it's not.
know.
The
Somebody
love of
edited it.
money is the root of all evil, not money.
Right.
Money's
Yep,
neutral.
yep.
Yeah. So I want to work with people who, yes, want to make an impact, want to inspire people, want to motivate people, and want to be
Hmm.
well paid for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, and successful at that as a byproduct, not as the motivator.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And they want to reach more people, right? They
Bingo.
care
Yes.
about making an impact and making
Yes.
this world a better place.
Yes. Thank
I
you.
can hear my mother's voice saying, stop caring so much. When I was
Hey,
teaching junior high school, And I know we
Whoa.
have to end, but I was teaching junior high school art, and my heart went out to some of these kids who were having problems at home, and of course they brought it in the classroom.
Of
And she
course.
said, "I understand your feelings, but she said you can't take on everybody's stuff." And so that has stuck with me.
Yeah.
But I wish somebody would take on my stuff sometimes, you know.
You mentioned, I know we have to wrap up soon, but
Yeah,
you did mention something earlier that I want to circle back to, and that whole piece around boundaries. And yes, when
yes,
you're an empath, when you're simply somebody who has compassion and you care about things, that is a big piece of this work too, is really, and I get it. I mean, I took
yeah,
on everyone's stuff, really enmeshed emotionally, energetically with people. These were things that I had to learn and frankly learned much later in my life, where we really need to be clear about what is ours to carry, as you mentioned, and what is
Hmm.
not. We can be
yeah,
compassionate and empathetic without making it our own.
Yes.
yes. Thank you.
And actually, we become much more effective when we're able to be with other people's struggle or suffering or challenges without that running through us,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
yes, it does. Thank you very much. And thank you, Gayle. I know we have to wrap up. I could go on forever this way with you. I think you've got to come back. And all I have to say today is if anyone in the audience has heard something that touched you, that really spoke to your heart, please let us know. Put it in the comments below. Come back to the Connectors Edge. Come back to business builders, referral business builders. And also look for Gayle Nowak, as the story stylist. Her information will be out underneath here, and it will be out to you where you can comment on it. And with that, I thank you all for being here. And Gayle, please come back. Will you promise
I'd
to
love
come
to come
back?
back. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
And thank you, Marian, and thank you, everyone on here. We appreciate your being here. And as I said, join us again.
Till next time. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.